everyone, welcome to channel Knowledge Hub and subscribe to channel and click the bell icon for the latest update. Today we're going to start with discussing about class 11th of chemistry, that is your 26th class. We already had done your 25th class in the last session and that will be continuing further. In terms of it, we have started with the unit 10, which is your unit 11, that is your P-block element, which is very important here. So in the same way, we will discuss the rest of the topic that we had not discussed last classes. So we'll start discussing about the last topic that we had discussed about is your atomic and the physical property of the wood-carbon element, where we had discussed about the chemical properties, where we had discussed about oxidation state and the trends in chemical reactivity, electron deficient, and aromatical as well. So now discuss about reactivity towards here. Reactivity towards air. Okay, so let's get started here for the same. In terms of reactivity towards air, where boron is unreactive in a crystalline form and aluminium forms a very thin oxide layer on the surface which protects the metal from further attack, and amorphous boron and aluminium metal on heating in air form B2O3, and on the same way with respect towards the metal from that in the surfaces and which protects the metal from the further attack, and amorphous boron and aluminium metal on heating in air from form B2O3 and Al2O3 respectively. With nitrogen at high temperature, they form nitrides, and that is 2E plus 3O2 gas in the presence of heat will give 2E2O3, and 2E solid plus N2 gas plus of heat 2En in the presence of solid state of solid. So where E here is your element, E is element. Okay, now we'll discuss about that the nature of these oxides varies down the group. That is your boron trioxide is acidic and reacts with basic metallic oxide forming a metal boron. Aluminium and gallium oxides are the atmospheric amphoteric, and those of indium and thallium are the basic in their properties. So you have to just remember that. We'll discuss about another one, which is the reactivity towards acid and alkalis. So now the second property we'll discuss here. This is the first property of the chemical property. Second is your reactivity towards acids and alkalis. So here we'll talk about it. In reactivity towards alkalis, acids and alkalis that we have here. So boron does not react with acid and alkalis even in the moderate temperature, but aluminium dissolves in mineral state acids and aqueous alkalis, and thus shows the amphoteric character. Aluminium dissolves in dilute HCl and liberate dihydrogen. Okay, so the reaction we have 2A plus 6HCl aqueous gives 2Al3 plus aqueous plus 6Cl aqueous plus 3 H2 gas. So here, however, the concentrated nitric uh, acid renders aluminium passive by forming a protective oxide layer on the surface. Aluminium also reacts with aqueous alkali and liberate dihydrogen, which is 2Al solid plus 2NaOH aqueous plus 6H2O liquid. 2Na plus AnOH4 minus aqueous plus 3H2 gas. This is sodium tetrahydroxoaluminate third. Okay, so this is sodium tetrahydroxoaluminate third. Okay, now coming towards another one, which will be discussing about reactivity towards halogen. So let's get started for the same. So reactivity towards halogens we have. So these elements react with halogen to form trihalides except Tli3. So we have equations. Elements plus 3x2 gas will give 2ex3, where X will be, these were halogens, so fluorine, chlorine, bromine and iodine. These were the halogens here. Now coming towards with another one, which has been discussing the rest, but we had completed all of these reactivity towards halogen, reactivity towards acids and alkalis, and reactive towards your air. Now we'll be discussing the numerical here, and then after that we'll discuss about the important twins and anomalous property of boron. So we'll go for the numerical here. The numerical is being as follows. Question is, white fumes appear around the bottle of anhydrous aluminum chloride. Give a reason. So you have to give the reasons about the question that has been asked. So here we go for the C. So the question we have, the question is, white fumes appear around the bottle of anhydrous aluminum chloride. Give please. So let's get started. So we go for the same. So an anhydrous aluminum chloride is a partially hydrolyzed with atmospheric moisture to liberate HCl gas, and moist HCl appears white in color. So anhydrous aluminum chloride is partially hydrolyzed with atmospheric moisture to liberate HCl gas. Moist HCl appear white in color. Now we'll discuss about another one, which is your that important trends and anomalous properties of boron. So for the same we will be going ahead here. Important trends and anomalous properties of boron. So let's get started for the same here. In this, if I'm not going ahead in a detail about that, so yes, certain important trends that can be observed in the chemical behavior of a group 13 element. The tricolor chloride, bromide and iodide of all these elements that being covalent in nature are hydrolyzed in water. In a species like tetrahedral, which is MOH4 minus an octahedral MH2O6 3 plus, except in boron, exist in aqueous medium. The monomeric trihalides that being electron deficient are strong Lewis acid. Boron trifluoride easily react with Lewis base such as NH3 to complete octet around the boron, which is F3b plus NH3 F3b NH3. Okay. It is due to the absence of a d orbital that the maximum covalence of B is 4, and since the d orbital are available with aluminium and the other element, the maximum covalence that can be expected beyond 4, and most of the other metal halide, example AlCl3, are dimerized through halogens bridging. An example this is Al2Cl6. The metal species completes its octet by accepting the electron from halogens in these halogens bridged molecule. We'll go for another question, which is your third question of this unit. Question is, boron is unable to form BF6 3 minus ions. Explain. So we'll go for further. So question is, boron is unable to form BF6 3 minus ion. Explain. So let's get started with the same. So here in the same, due to the non-availability of d orbital, boron is unable to expand its octet. Therefore, the maximum covalence of boron cannot exceed 4. So our solution will be, due to non-availability of d orbital, boron is unable to expand its octet. Therefore, the maximum covalence of boron cannot exceed 4. Okay, so here we're gonna end up with, and we'll discuss the rest of the class in the next coming class, which is in of your 27th class of the session. So here we're gonna end up with. It's a huge request to all the viewers to please go ahead with like, share, and subscribe so that many and maximum people can get the information at once, and even though you can also enjoy the video as well. In terms of other than this chemistry, we had done your physics, we are dealing with quantitative aptitude, we had done your reasoning as well. In terms of chemistry only, if I'm going ahead in the detail that what we had discussed is that this is your class 11th on part 2. Part 1 we had even though discussed about it. So here we had discussed unit 1 of part 2, which is some basic concepts of chemistry. Unit 2 is your structure of atom. Unit 3 is classifications of element and periodicity in properties. Unit 4 is the chemical bonding of the molecular structure. Unit 5 is states of matter. Unit 6 is thermodynamics. Unit 7 is equilibrium. In terms of this part 2, we are dealing with redox reaction, hydrogen. Unit 10 is S-block element. Unit 11 that we are dealing is the P-block element. 8, 9, 10 we had done. You can go ahead till 10th unit we had done. You can go ahead with the playlist, you will find it out. Unit 12 is your organic chemistry, which is some basic principles and technique. Unit 13 is hydrocarbon, and unit 14 is environmental chemistry. That what will cover up, and then your NCRT for class 11th part 1 and part 2 has been completed. Thank you. Stay tuned with us. Please like, share, and subscribe so that many maximum people can get the information at once, and even though you can also enjoy the video as well. Thank you. Keep support us.